Six Nations 2025 is now finished. Congratulations to France, the champions. Jeepers, it was a hell of a tournament, wasn't it, guys? And definitely some of the best rugby I've ever seen in the Six Nations. Guys, in this video, we'll have a look at my Form 23 from the Six Nations tournament. Guys, if you're enjoying the content, hit that subscribe button and add further comments underneath about my Form 23. So, we better get into it. Starting off front row from the Six Nations, so Ellis Genge, Pito Malvaka, and Uni Antonio. I think firstly we'll look at Ellis Genge. Like, the thing is that I really like about him is just his leadership. You know, he's been around the campaign a while, he's well spoken. But, you know, just as a player, you know, he scrummages so well, his set piece, his work around the field at the breakdown. But, you know, he is so tough, isn't he? Real tough and abrasive. And I want tough and abrasive players in my team. So, next one, Malvaka for France. Look, from me, he's just a really attacking threat, isn't he? You know, ball in hand, he takes it to the line, he hits gaps, he's a hard ball carrier, a high work rate. Yeah, not only that, his set piece is really accurate. He's just a really exciting player from France. So that's why I have him at hooker. And then finally, Uni Antonio. Now, it was interesting, a few people made a few comments about how he hasn't been in that good a form. I thought he played well in the Six Nations, but from me, I just, and let me know your thoughts on this, guys, I just think the way the rugby is at the moment, you know, the power game up front is really, really important, you know. And if you can have these big lumps of men that just carry the ball hard, hitting hard lines that are just, you know, phenomenally powerful and really hard to stop, you know, it just makes your attack so much more effective. You get over the advantage line, you can spin the ball wide, kick the ball into space. And that's why I've chosen Uni Antonio. Like, he's just an absolute lump of a man. You know, you look at the stats from him I've got here. Uni Antonio, 1.97 m, 147 kilos. Oof, that is a big man, isn't he? Next one from me, so locks, I have Maro Itoje and Emmanuel Miafu. So again, probably a little bit contrasting there. Maro Itoje in there, you know, for his leadership. But he had a phenomenally good Six Nations as well. You know, he led from the front, but, you know, his set piece work, he's so effective at the line out, high work rate, so effective at the breakdown. He's tough and you know, he's a hard ball carrier. So he had a hell of a good Six Nations. And then Emmanuel Miafu, I like the look of him just for the power game again. So interesting with his stats. 2.03 meters tall and weighing at 145 kilos. So, you know, again, you know, that power game, you know, a lump of a man, you know, running off halfback first five, hitting hard lines with that physical prowess. He's a hard man to stop, isn't he, guys? And a real threat to the defense of the opposition. Loose forward trio, yeah, quite interesting here. Let me know your thoughts on this. From me, I've gone with Jamie Ritchie, Ben Curry, and Gregory Aldrich. And I think the three of them, I'll get to that shortly, but I've gone with some real intelligence, with real flair and real brutal, you know, breakdown and ball carrying ability. So let me know your thoughts on my loose forward trio. But, you know, firstly, Jamie Ritchie, again, I've said before, like, he's just, you know, highly intelligent rugby player, you know, breakdown specialist. He knows when to hit the rucks and when not to. You know, he's not a hard ball carrier, but, you know, he's a smart ball carrier. You know, he hits good lines, doesn't make many mistakes. And from me, what I really like about him as well, he strikes me as a really calm, composed player. You know, when the heat comes on, Jamie Ritchie just takes, you know, he's just composed and he calms the other players down. You know, play what's in front of you. not get that red head, keep that blue head, if you know what I mean, guys. So Ben Curry from England, look, man of the match in the last game. But again, phenomenal talent. Like, he's world class, that breakdown. Good hard ball carrier. He makes the advantage line quite well. Yeah, and like I said, a world class player. At number 8, Gregory Aldrit from France. Look, he's class, isn't he, guys? Like, I think, definitely on form. We haven't seen much of the Southern Hemisphere yet, but I think on form, he's often the best number 8 in the world. Just his powerful ball-carrying ability. Yet he's so dangerous at that breakdown. The turnovers he gets is so impressive. And then you look at his defensive work. He's a hard defender. Chops tackles, he puts some shots on, and look, he's a class player, isn't he, Gregory Aldrit? Number 9, 10, Antoine Dupont. Look, obviously he's injured, but you have to say he's just, I think even on this year, by far the best player in the world. And he's like made to play rugby, isn't he? He's so composed. You very rarely see him make mistakes. The opposition, they really put a lot of heat on him, but he doesn't crumble under it. And just his skill set, like his passing is so accurate, so effective. He can offload so well. He can kick off both feet. He's so strong on defense. I think that's something that probably a lot of people miss with him. A number of times I'll see him, like Antoine Dupont, defensively up against, a player the size of you and Antonio, and Dupont just seems to hold his own. Even though he's half the size of some of these guys, he's incredibly powerful. So look, a hell of a player. At fly half, Romain, and I'm not that good at pronouncing his last name, Ndimak. Forgive me for my lack of French there, guys. But the thing I like about Romain Ndimak, he's just a real attacking threat. In his game management, he passes the ball well. He kicks so accurately and effectively. He makes good decisions from a game management perspective, and he's just a really exciting, dangerous player. So I've got him at fly half. On the wings, I have Duane van der Merwe for Scotland, and then Louis Bielbiari at number 14 from France. So I think you look at Duane van der Merwe, what particularly impressed me about him was, guys, the amount of analysis they do on players, and these sides, that they see Duane van der Merwe, they know that he's a big man, speed to burn. They know he's a genuine athlete. And they know they're going to need to shut him down and get in his face. But in spite of that, like, he still makes so many meters at test match level, whether he's out wide or he's just carrying the ball up the middle against, big loose forwards, front rowers, etc. Just such a genuine athlete, isn't he? I think you look at Louis Bielbiari, nowhere near as big as Duane van der Merwe, but from me, I just think Louis Bielbiari, like, he must be, if not one of the fastest rugby players in the world. Like, just his raw speed is phenomenal. Like, let me know your thoughts on him. It just often felt like a lot of those games, when he's playing against the opposing wingers and fullbacks of other Six Nations sides, he seemed to be a leg ahead in terms of speed against a lot of those back three of the opposition. So genuine raw speed, isn't he? But just a really nice skill set. He knows when to kick. He hits good lines, and as I said, he's not a big man, but he tackles well. He puts his shoulder in. He defends well. He's a genuinely class winger, isn't he, guys? 12-13. Well, I've gone for quite an attacking combination there. So Mofana at 12 from France, and then Ollie Lawrence at 13 from England. I think if you look at Mofana, like, just such an attacking threat, isn't he? He takes it to the line, he's powerful ball carrier, but he also his passing, his game management, his instincts on attack are really exciting and impressive, guys. And then Ollie Lawrence, like, again, powerful ball carrier, passes well, good game management, good attacking instincts. I quite like the attacking opportunities of those players, and both of them are tough, physical defenders, so they'll get in the face of the opposition and make some tackles. Fullback from the Six Nations form team. Yeah, this is probably going to surprise a few people, but look, Marcus Smith at fullback. Obviously, there's talk about him, they're wanting to put him at fly half, and whether or not he actually prefers fly half, but he's been playing fullback for England, and he's been phenomenal, guys, eh? He gets the ball at the back, he's got genuine speed, doesn't he? He hits lines, he's really hard to stop. But also as attacking, he's really smart. You see him take to the line, he'll do a scissors move, or he connects really well with the back three of that England attack. And he, look, guys, I genuinely thought he really made a hell of a difference to that England attack. I think he added another dimension from me, and he was phenomenal for that England attack. But not only that, I've been really impressed by his leadership. He knows, the intensity of test match level, when to take a mark, when to kick it out, when to, when the attacking opportunities are on, when to chip it, when to hoof play a bit of territory and boot it downtown, the situation of the test match. That leadership, he's becoming a really smart rugby player as well, guys. So, and then look, his defence, he tackles low, he tackles well, a genuine athlete. So I think he had a really good Six Nations overall, guys. So let me know your thoughts on him. Moving to the bench. So numbers 16, 17 and 18, the replacement front row. I had Andrew Porter, Dan Sheehan and Finn Baxter. So Andrew Porter from Ireland. Yeah, look, I thought he had a good Six Nations, but what I like about him is a lot of those Irish players are tough, but from me, I think he's probably one of the toughest Irish players, eh? He is abrasive, really, that set piece, he scrums hard, on defence, he puts his body on the line, he's physical and abrasive, and then when it comes to ball carriers, he runs at hard lines. He's a physical, tough player, and I really like that about Andrew Porter. Dan Sheehan, look, I thought he had another good Six Nations. He does the set piece well. His line-out work, his scrum work is good. And again, he's just as physical. He's a hard man to get on the ground. He's physically very strong and very tough as well. So that's what I really like about Dan Sheehan. Finn Baxter from England. Look, he's quite a young prop, but look, he's certainly coming through the ranks and looking quite impressive. From me, what I thought was quite impressive was his physical nature. So, I remember seeing that England-France game, and particularly Finn Baxter, I believe he came off the bench, and that French forward pack has some big lumps of men, big, hard ball carriers, no shortage of physicality. And on a number of occasions, these lumpy French forwards would be carrying the ball pretty hard and powerful. And Finn Baxter would get up, put his body on the line, and he really made some impressive chop tackles on some physical, hard ball carriers by the French team. So the physicality was particularly impressive from him, and not only that, he carries the ball hard, but his set piece was particularly effective, and I think he's a player for the future, guys. Number 19, my loose forward cover, Jack Morgan from Wales. I think there was probably a number of other players you could choose in there. One of them in particular was Caelan Doris from Ireland. I actually, at times, I don't think that Caelan Doris played as well as he can do anyway. But looking at Jack Morgan, look, what I like about him is just, he's a young man, but a very intelligent, composed, a head of shoulders on him. That interview after that pretty tough game against England, it doesn't get much worse for that Welsh side. But, I thought he was really composed and really articulate and spoke as a leader. You know, I was really impressed by his leadership and communication there. But not only that, like the adversity that Wales have faced, you know, he's led from the front. You know, his work at the breakdown, he carries the ball hard, physical on defence, you know, he really puts his body on the line. And I think he's really going to be a player for the future for that Welsh side. Number 20, Tag Byrne for Ireland. Like, yeah, he's class, isn't he? He's just, you know, brings that physicality. Strikes me as a really intelligent player as well. Like, you know, he's been around the international rugby for a while, so he knows what it's like. He knows how to handle the pressures of international rugby, but just a really good core skill set for Tag Byrne. 21, 22 and 23. So Jamison Gibson Park at replacement halfback with Finn Russell. Let me know your thoughts on this, but you know, Jamison Gibson Park at halfback, he was phenomenally impressive, I thought, in that Six Nations, guys. Like, the big thing from me about him is just he seems so composed. You know, the pressure of international rugby and the speed and the time that they don't have, but you know, he always seems to get his passes away accurately. He always snipes the breakdown really well. You know, his kicking is so accurate. You know, he defends so well against hard ball carriers. You know, he was phenomenal in the Six Nations, I thought. And then, look, Finn Russell, you know, it's debatable whether or not you could potentially start with Finn Russell, but I've gone for Romain Intermac. Finn Russell was pretty impressive in that Six Nations. What I thought about him, though, you're seeing a really mature Finn Russell these days, aren't you? Like, very little razzle-dazzle less razzle-dazzle anyway from him, but particularly his game management. You know, he kicks well, defends well, but his offload game, his passing is very accurate. He's making very intelligent decisions, and he really drives that Scotland attack. So, classy player. And then number 23, Thomas Ramos. I just like his skill set. You know, he's got raw speed. He's got that real attacking French prowess. Just a really exciting player to have in your cover, whether or not he plays wing or fullback, or, you know, he's a class player, and yeah, he had a good Six Nations for France. So guys, let me know your thoughts on my Form Six Nations team. You know, any players you think I've missed? You know, what do you think of my mix of the different countries? You'll see in this 23 that I'll run down shortly. You know, the majority of the form team I've selected is from France, but they won the Six Nations in 2025, and a lot of their players were you know, world class. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on that, and yeah, let me know your thoughts on the Six Nations tournament for 2025. It's a hell of an impressive tournament, I think it's fair to say. The tradition, but the quality of rugby, especially this year, was seriously impressive, guys. So again, let me know your thoughts on some of them. And guys, if you're enjoying the content, hit the like button, chuck a comment down about my form team, and subscribe to the channel. Cheers.